new layout. We got the stuff going. I'm chilling. We're taking a moment to collect our thoughts, and the thoughts that I'm collecting are I need to get open some stuff. Okay. And we are now live on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. How we all doing, everybody, today? Today, we are going to be talking about some fun stuff. I'm going to be talking about some design news. You need to open these links, by the way. Yeah, we're going to be talking about design news. We're going to be talking about AI gadgets and how they might have an effect on the design industry, specifically UI, UX design industry. And then also, too, we're going to be doing a portfolio review of Michalis. Michalis? We'll go with, I'm going to call it Michalis, and I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name later, but give me a job over on Instagram. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully one day. You know, here's my thing: is I've got lots of big plans, right? And for me, I don't ever want to stop doing this, right? This is so much fun, and so I'm going to be hopefully having more and more people coming on the team, more and more people joining eventually. But right now, I'm in build mode. Will I save this live? Yes. So by the way, if you see this and you got to go, you can always check it out over on my YouTube channel. On there, I've got all of live replays of everything that I'm doing. So should be pretty cool for you to go check that out later. Because also too, specifically Michalis, you are going to be getting a portfolio review today. So buckle in. Hopefully we're doing really solid. Hopefully you're doing solid and I don't have to jam you up too much. But what's up, Kimmy? How you doing? New bento box. Yep, I got a new layout today. Nice little down here in the corner. We've got some good juice hanging out by the bento box. Because yeah, you know, I don't know about you, but those like ones where people have like Minecraft stuff, like just sitting down there while like there's a podcast chatting, it just always gets me where I'm just like kind of zoned in. I'm like, wait, what were they saying? So yeah, just trying to do that with a little bit of nice vibes, with some design content at least. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I might try it out with some some actual video game stuff. But what's happening, everybody? Hopefully we're doing good. Hey, buddy, I'm making my first portfolio on Framer. Should I use a CMS for case study pages or not? That's a good question, and it really depends on how many case studies you're planning to have in your portfolio. I would say if you've just got like one or two, maybe three or four, and they're all like sort of sporadic, it would probably be best to just start with one page and then like duplicate it and edit it. However, if you want to go learn CMS and all of that stuff, it would probably be a great spot to do CMS like set up on your website. That way you can get that sorted and start learning and you know offer that to your team later. But hopefully we're doing pretty good. What's up, Burger? How you doing? Yo, where's your profile pic? I don't know if it's not coming through, but you should be wearing the profile pic I made you, Burger, over on TikTok side. But what's up, Juan? How we doing? Okay, I think we're ready to jump into the actual show today. So yeah, let's dig in because it's going to be a pretty good one. Today, I'm talking about how Johnny Ive and Sam Altman are potentially teaming up. Now, I'm pretty sure they're teaming up. I don't know. We'll see. Here we go. Pulling it into view so you guys can read. But essentially, don't mind all the litters of ads. There you go. Okay. So yeah, basically, so if you don't know who Johnny Ive is, you should know who Johnny Ive is. But Johnny Ive is like the old lead product designer at Apple. Basically, like made Apple alongside Steve Jobs, who actually made Apple, right? Obviously, but Johnny Ive has been like this kind of like guy who's like the deal, like the legend of product design as it relates to especially UI UX, right? Because like definitely product in the real world is a big thing, but how it relates to technology is where Apple crushed it, right? And there's kind of this huge wave, right? We talk a lot about AI and how that's going to affect the design industry. I mean, every industry, but I talk a lot about how it's going to affect the design industry. But the real thing that I haven't really talked about too much is how it's going to actually have an effect on the stuff we're designing, right? Like the things we're designing are going to be affected by this, right? Back in the early 1900s when Ford was coming out with the car, right? He was saying that if you did enough market research you would have found out that people wanted a faster horse, right? And then he went and built a fucking car, and then now we're all driving cars, right? Like I think that there's, back in the when Apple came out with the iPhone, that was another moment, right, where that sort of happened, where everybody was making these like in-person real life keyboards. Everybody was making like horrible like experiences that were just kind of like built for like productivity rather than like to have it integrated into your life, right? And that was a big moment when the iPhone came out and everything changed, right? Like Google restarted from their projects that they were working on in terms of like mobile phones and all that, right? And I think that we're all kind of like seeing it happening. Maybe it's going to happen, maybe it's not. Around like spatial computing was one, but then the big one is how is AI going to affect our lives now? So essentially, Johnny Ive is teaming up with Sam Altman, who's the guy who made OpenAI, and they are basically OpenAI is going to be investing in this product that question mark, who knows what it is, what that Johnny Ive's working on, but it's basically going to be a personal AI device, which is a big deal, right? A big one, the biggest one so far around in this space is Humane, where and basically Humane is that one. I don't know if you've seen it, but like that dude with the British accent came on. He comes on is like talking about like all the colorways that you can get. And honestly, in my opinion, I think it's really bad marketing. I don't think that it really like speaks to why the fuck would I actually want to wear this thing on my shoulder, right? I still haven't seen a really great use case for it, to be honest with you. But it's there, and it's a possibility that's going to happen. And like I think the truth is everybody's like running to like do this land grab around the personal devices that we might be wearing as it relates to AI, right? Now, and Humane's not the only player, right? There's this one called Rewind, where basically it's just like this pendant. It records everything that happens out in the world, and then it processes it into AI for you. And they actually have some actual use cases, right? Like Humane in interviews have been asked about their use cases, and it's like the stuff that like really doesn't fucking help you at all. Like nobody's gonna move except early adopters to that. And obviously, we're still very early days on the early adoption. So I'm not even talking shit. I'm just saying everything is so early that it's. But like the reality though is it will affect what we are doing as designers, right? Because like, hey, you forgot your spouse just asked you to pick up that thing at the grocery store. Now, what does that notification look like? How does it come in? Is it coming in on just the device? And all of that, all of that has an impact on what we're going to be doing in the future on a lot of products, right? And Rewind is actually part of this like larger product that basically takes in information outside and like processes it for you. So it kind of makes sense that they're doing that and then also doing this pendant on top of it. So anyways, those are some interesting ones that like I've seen and have come across a lot. I'm sure you guys have all seen it as well. And so I guess my thoughts are, I would love to hear what you guys are thinking about it. Is what are you feeling on what is it going to affect us, what we're doing? Do you think that it's going to actually take over? Because for me, I do think that it's going to have an effect. I haven't seen the use case for it yet that's going to take out the phone, right? Like everybody loves popping open TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, and just like scrolling, right? So you can't really replace that with AI, right? And so with that, I don't know if the phones are ever going to go away. But if they do go in a way like day to day, right, where it's like I always have my phone right here on my desk. It's like right here, and I'm like kind of like a notification comes in, I check it out. Comments come in, I check it out, right? But how might that affect me in my day to day around? Wait, let me just let me just speak out loud. Hey, send me that thing again, right? Or what did that person say to me? Okay, cool. Can you say this back? And then they go run with it. Right? Or, hey, can you go into Figma, get the link, copy the link, and send it to this person, right? Because I forgot to do it, right? How nice would that be? Because there's so many times that stuff like that happens for me, and I'm like out and about. I'm not at my desk, and I'm kind of scrambling, like, oh shit, I gotta go sit down at my desk again. So how can we like do that? I guess those are some things I just want to kind of bring up to you because it's gonna have an effect. And it's also going to have an effect on what we're designing. So keep an eye on those gadgets and stuff. I think that's my news spiel for the day. Yeah. Okay, how we feeling? How we doing? We got anybody dropping any notes or anything? So I just want to say that I am monitoring chat on TikTok and YouTube pretty good. Instagram is really tough to monitor chat because every time somebody comes in, it floods the chat and I lose you. So I just want to say that if I don't hit you back, I apologize. Let me see. Somebody said something. Damn, I can't even find it. Can't even find it. All right, over on YouTube. How much should we know about design systems and how can we use those for our projects? That's a really great question. That was over on YouTube by Tayab. So listen, for me, design systems are important to learn. I would also say though, you don't need to learn them until you're like really trying to go for a larger team. And that might be your prerogative. So basically, when you're getting into design systems, just understand that like those are almost like an internal product on the team, right? Like every time that you make a change to a design or you add a new feature that needs this type of data or whatever, that's going to have an effect on the layouts that you're using, the atoms that you're creating, the molecules that those are coming together into. And essentially, that's what the difficulty is around design systems, right? And that's why a lot of like larger companies love to see, like love to put on there. I mean, really, any company might put that in there as like a need to have, as like design systems experience. And a lot of larger products are 100% on design systems, and so that's where it's like nice to have and nice to use and say that you've had experience in. However, I will say if you're working at a startup, most startups are not working in design systems. Maybe the development team or the engineering team are using like components and being really focused on that. And that's not the right word, but around that word. But essentially, like that's what you kind of like need to look out for is how can you make your designs systematic in a way that developers will love you, right? Like that's really the juice that comes from design systems and like especially early stage designer learning design systems is that side. Now, do you need to use those in your normal projects? I would say no. In your personal projects, no. If in a client project, probably not. But unless it's a design system project, right? But design systems are really just a process to build your designs in a very systematic way. And so, how does that work? How does that translate into something? Well, it's making everything into components. Those components are made up of multiple pieces that are all components on their own, right? And so, like that's at the end of the day what a design system is. So I would say get really good at components, get really good at being consistent in your designs, and you'll be ready to do design systems. And yeah, you might not be able to say, hey, I got design system experience, but you can leverage that into getting a job that you then say, yo, I want to go make a design system so that I can get some experience. Can we do it? Let's go. And that actually happened at my last job. I hired a junior designer. They wanted to learn design systems, and so we started building a design system together. I left before it was done, but they are very like systematic now in the way that they use their components and everything. And actually, it's funny. This is the trouble with design systems is I recently like helped out with a little mini project with them. And they already it was getting a little outdated. I was like, "Yo, you added this new feature, and it's not part of the library. You got to get it fixed up, bro." And yeah, like that's why it's got to be part of the like it's almost like an internal product. Is that once you make it, you better keep updating it, or it's going to get out of sync, and eventually it's going to become useless, and all the time was wasted. So that's why like doing design systems too early is something that you like really should avoid doing. So. Yeah, over on TikTok, Liana. I think the coolest things, I think the coolest so far I've seen in a while is translating AI voice. Imagine like an earbud for travel. Yeah, yeah. So cool. Love the comment on that. I was just talking about how Johnny Ive and Sam Altman are teaming up or not teaming up, but Sam Altman is potentially investing in Johnny Ive's startup, which is going to be like an AI gadget, like wearable. So yeah, I think like anything around translating voice and stuff. But the trouble is, here's my thing with translating AI voice and translations and all that stuff is most people are sitting at their desks, especially if they're remote workers. Nobody's like going out and like listening and having a lot of conversations that are very important and impactful. So I really feel like gadgets are almost this thing that like again, it doesn't have that killer use case yet because you could have in Zoom AI or in Google Meet AI and that will help you with your team to be more productive. You can connect that into Slack AI, that isn't out yet, and all that stuff could be like the things. Like, so basically all these like apps can start talking to each other. And I think that's like the use case that all of us see right now, and that's pretty obvious. And so the real question will be, how can we get that into this world of wearables, like where it's actually a useful product that people want to buy and use. Yeah. Cool. Rao over on Instagram, you want me to look at your portfolio and provide me with feedback? Of course I can. Just a heads up, you can easily go to my bio link, and in my bio, I'll pull up my fucking bio link so you can see. Hold up, hold the phone. Here we go. My bio link is radnolan/links. But in there, you will be able to find a few things. Pulling it up, switching over. Okay. In there, you'll be able to find this guy, this link right here, this portfolio review link, and also there's one down here of getting a portfolio review. So those live portfolio reviews, it basically just takes you to a form, and then you'll be able to input your bio from there. So okay, makes sense. Hold up. Okay, so let's dig into the thing that I want to share with you guys today around. I didn't flip over to the news. So I'm going to be doing a live Figma tutorial now. Ready? Are we ready for that? Okay. Woo. Cool. How to find a good UX mentor over on YouTube was just asked. That's a good question, and I think that I would say like just go start joining communities and start connecting with people through that. Like the thing is with mentors is it's tough to like connect with people in a meaningful way where you're just like, hey, can you mentor me? And so I think that like connecting with people, and if they're like chatting and part of the community, and you're also part of the community, I think that's like a really nice bet to be able to connect with people like that. Yeah, how's the live going, everybody? We over here, we ready to go? I am about to talk about this this tutorial. Today's tutorial is we're going to be going into my favorite plugins. So go ahead, and if you want to come by, you can join this Figma file right now by going to this link, and you'll be able to hop in with me, and we will be able to get going. So hold on, is all the titles updated? Yes. Okay, sick. Whee! Okay. Just need a drink. Okay. Let's go. So today's tutorial is about my favorite plugins. So there's two plugins that I want to or three plugins I wanted to cover today. I'm gonna go ahead and like make a new page. We'll call it Figma plugins. Cool. So I'm gonna pull all these up. Hold on. We're gonna pull up feather icons. That's a big one. Beautiful shadows. I haven't used much plugins on this computer yet. So this is my studio computer. Damn it, where did... Just pull it up here. Hey, somebody's in here. Here we go. Run. Okay. Sick. And then my last one that I wanted to share was this use contrast. Perfect. Cool. Okay. So my three favorite plugins. We ready to go? How's it going over on Instagram? Is it stuck? Is it frozen? My wife just texted me saying it's frozen. So I'm kind of not panicking, but just like wondering what's going on, because it seems like people are still chatting. So I can't be sure. I am on Discord. I've got a Discord. I just haven't really hung out in Discord in a little while. It's frozen? Damn. How frozen is it? You can hear me though? Okay, it's not frozen on Instagram. Karma says frozen on TikTok. Hold on, everybody. Technical difficulties. It's back. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't know. Maybe the internet blipped out for a second. Let's dig in. Okay. Enough of this. Enough of the jibber jab. So really quick, if you want to come join me on this Figma file while we hang out, you happen to be on your computer watching or near your computer, you should probably get back to work. But before you do that, you should probably keep hanging out with me and go to this link, bit.ly/rad-live-hangs. Okay, you head over there, and we are going to be in this page. I'll be spotlighting myself, and I'm going to switch my cursor over. I'm sure that this is leaving in a few days. I'm going to be missing it, but I'm going to do the pen tool. Okay. So a big one that I really love to use is, essentially, these are my 3 favorite plugins inside of Figma. So I'll just start from the top with feather icons. So if you are a designer and you are dropping icons, essentially like you should never really start over from scratch on your icon library. And you should pick a library because it'll always be just a little bit different, a little bit off, and unless like on the weight or the style or the sizing and all that. And in fact, I tried to switch over to Font Awesome, and it just like and there was actually a few days where I pretty much exclusively used Font Awesome for their icons. Not a few days, like a few weeks that I was trying to get it, and it just like, I don't know. Jeez, I can't type. So check it out. Ah, fuck. I haven't done the keys over here, but the trouble with the icon is one icon would be like this size, and then the next one would be like slightly like that, right? And that is such a problem in the world of development, right? Because I could hand off these icons, and here I'll actually show you over on the stream really quick, like kind of how this translated, and it was really frustrating, to be honest. Where is, okay, no, there you go. We kind of pulled together a little database of icons, and yeah, so when these kind of came in, they would actually come in spaced like this, like differently. Each icon would come in differently spaced, which is kind of like, how is that even usable, to be honest with you? Because me as a designer, I'm moving fast. I'm not going to be checking if the icon is properly sized, right? I'm just going to hope that all icons from that library is the same size and fills the same amount of space, because we're moving fast. We don't want to be concerned or thinking about that too much, right? And so that's one big one. The other side is like the sizing and outside of the style, but really I'm specifically talking about the actual like weight of the little dots here, right? So in here, these are at two pixels of stroke. Now, what if one icon was just a little bit heavier, right? Like instead of 2, it was like 2.5. It would be one of those things where it's almost imperceptible unless you're really paying attention to it, but something just feels off, right? And that sort of stuff adds up in your designs, and that's why for me, the one that I found that's really consistent on the sizing, on the vibes, and the thickness of the strokes is Feather Icons. You really just can't go wrong. They've got like a lot of the main ones in that plugin, and you can always drop in and you can size it or increase the scale of this stroke. In fact, at my last startup that I worked at, I always had it at 1.5. Just because it was a little bit lighter and I wanted it lighter for some reason, and that's kind of just what I went with. And so I used that throughout, and yeah, so that's a big one. Is Feather Icons is one, and actually it's pretty cool. I'm doing a Figma collab about this tomorrow, by the way, so stay tuned. Hope and I'm adding a few more that I'm not going to talk about today either. Okay, now the next one is Beautiful Shadows. So I'm going to wrap this in a shoot. I'm gonna wrap this in a frame. Gotta fix my hotkeys on this machine. Okay. I'm moving slow today. Okay, here we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's say that I've got this. I'm gonna drop in like just a screenshot from my other file. Okay. I'm gonna scale this down so it fits. Okay. So let's say that I'm trying to make this a mock-up, right? I want to make this look really banging. So we could start with the biggest thing that I want to start with is really focusing on the strokes, right? So when we're designing, we're probably starting with like a flat like square, right, all around us. But in my mockups, I try to go up to like about 30 pixels. Now it's only 9 right now, but 30 pixels when it's like a larger scale. Additionally, I'll put a stroke on it on the outside, usually about 2 to 2.5 pixels. And yeah, so that's looking okay. But now here's where we bring the vibes. I'm going to turn on the plugin Beautiful Shadows. And I tell you, the quality of shadows on this thing is unmatched. It's unmatched. So here we go. So first off, it's really like the sun, right? When you're doing your shadows, all shadows in your design should function like the real world, right? When something is supposed to be on top of another, so like a sheet comes up from the bottom of your design, well, that should be on top of the background layer, right? And so because of that, the higher up we go, the more floaty it is, and therefore the larger the shadow should be further away, and it should be more blurred out. And you can kind of do that manually, but this basically does it like perfectly. And then additionally, it adds some additional shadows. So you can really notice it once you start bringing up the brightness. There's actually like 4 or 5 layers of shadows in this. Here, I'll pull over to my layers panel as well so you guys can see. You see these, like, this is what it's adding, like 4 or 5 layers of shadow all at once. And it looks really wonky right now because I've got it like all the way turned up. But it's so nice when you put it at like 14, 15. Like, look at that. It just looks like it's like coming off the page, right? And that's really what you want when you're trying to make a mock-up, is to not like overdo it, to let your design speak for itself, and really the best way to do that is to put the shadow on like that. So you can do that. Like I would say, like try to avoid that on an actual UI. If you ever were to hand off a design with a shadow like this, you're probably going to have your developer be like, what the hell are you doing? Get out. I'm not going to add all those shadows like that. First off, I don't think you can. You would have to wrap that in like 10 or 20 there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would have to wrap that in like 5 containers just to be able to get that amount of shadow. So this is purely for design purposes, to make it look punchy and fun. And yeah, I use this shadow a lot in my content. So okay. Beautiful Shadows, that's the other plugin that I wanted to go for. Now, last thing that I wanted to show is use contrast. So this is an awesome plugin. I actually have it on my computer, on my Mac. I need to get it on my PC. I need to find if they have one. But basically what it does is it actually grabs anything that you're like looking at. So right here, I'm selected this box right here. That is purple, and it's sitting on top. No, it's not. Come on. Why is it weird? Where is it sitting at? I'm over here doing a demo and it's not working. Damn. Come on. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I was selecting the wrong thing. Okay. So you see, basically, I selected this content, and it's basically it's color picking both March 11th and the box itself. And so it's allowing me to be able to see how that plays out. So basically it's saying that it's valid for all font sizes right away. Boom. This is still valid for all font sizes. Now it's getting to where it's a little bit harder to read. But now even that is still color accessible, but it needs to be larger, right? 21 pixels. And in my designs, I think I had it at like 16 pixels. So that would actually not be accessible anymore according to WCAG guidelines, is that. So yeah, so it's a really cool plugin though, because you can also flip it around, right? So you're able to test all your layouts really easily and see how they might play against each other if you have like an inverting dark mode or light mode. So yeah, so use contrast. That's a really good one. That's a really good one. Cool. Okay, we got to bring back the energy. What's happening, David? David Rivas, how you doing, bro? Welcome back to the stream. And sorry you missed last week because I just reviewed your portfolio last week, and that was a big one. What's the name of this plugin? That plugin was called Use Contrast. So basically, running through the list, and yeah. So we've got feather icons. We'll drop awesome icons at a specific size and match perfectly in a good library. That's my favorite icon library. The rest I use I use a different library called Noun Project and remake stuff from scratch there. Now, if I'm trying to make a nice, like really banging UI shot, I'm trying to use beautiful shadows to make this really cool shadow. And then additionally, I'm using Use Contrast for my color accessibility choices. Now, there are some other ones that have like more features where you can like save a library of stuff and put things together. But I've always found that I never like put enough work in to input all of those. And Use Contrast just kind of works out the box really seamlessly. So that's where that's why I picked that plugin for my day-to-day usage. Yeah. Cool. We're just gonna work through the clips. Damn, is the clips happening right now? Yeah, I should probably go check it out, huh? I'm in Florida, so I think we're only getting about a quarter of an eclipse, but yeah. Cool. All right, everybody. So we are moving right along. How we doing? How we feeling? Is the stream running okay? It wasn't running as well earlier, but yeah, I'm just gonna take a moment to collect some of my thoughts as we move into the portfolio review portion of the day. So if you have any questions, hit me with them. We can talk about them. I'm flipping over to the AMA screen. Let's get a shot of my face. Boom. Go to me. Sorry, everybody. This is a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces on my stream. Obviously, there's some layers. There's some layering to this. So hope you're getting some good vibes. Beautiful shadows. Love it. Yes. Okay. Hey, over on YouTube, somebody asked, new to this, should someone be a good graphic designer to be a good product designer? So that's a great question. I think a lot of people who are graphic designers are switching back and forth at all times, right? It's because it's really like this thing where, all of us, we're creative, right? All of us designers, we're creative. And so we're probably like interested in the graphic design world, but you do not need to be good at graphic design to be a good product designer. And also being a good graphic designer does not mean you're going to be a good product designer. And being a good product designer does not mean you're good at graphic design. And you don't need to be, really. However, really where I think is the value of being good at graphic design is having a good visual eye, right? We love to say like UX is important and having a good strategy around all of your designs is super important, and it is. I'm not trying to discount that or say that it's not important. However, graphic design, having those skills and those foundations is a really important piece of like becoming good at like saying this looks really good, right? And it's one of those things that kind of sucks that it comes down to that, because it's a bit subjective on like, well, you might think this looks good and this other person might not think it looks good. But the truth is if you are being intentional on your process, like that will translate whether it's graphic design or product design, right? And being intentional in your process is a lot easier to build one in the graphic design world, because you're able to self-assess in a better way. This is why I tell a lot of people not to jump into UX design too early, because it's one of those things that you can't know if you actually did a good job as a UX designer until something that you design gets built and you have data and you have real people who are using it, right? Like only at that point can you say the user experience is a good experience, right? Yeah, and so that's why I push for people to learn UI, because you're able to say like, hey, I want this to look like this. Does it look like that, right? I use these shots as inspiration. Does it look like that? Does this look good next to all the other UI shots that are happening on Dribble as well? Yes or no, right? Like, and you can really remove yourself from it, especially after you leave after a few days and you come back and look at it and you say, yeah, okay, this wasn't a killer UI, right? You can do that same thing in the graphic design world because you're able to sit there and say, like, I was trying to be like really good about this style, and I kind of fell off the rails with it, or doesn't look that good in these use cases, and so again, really small way to say graphic design is good. It's not needed, but it is useful if you are a graphic designer to be able to use those processes and bring them into the product design world. Okay, yo, Mars, what's happening? Love the Bintel screen. Appreciate it. Yeah, got a nice little new thing today with this time lapse right here. Hope you're vibing with it. I might throw some different time lapses up every once in a while just to see, just to like test things out a little bit. But numbers on Instagram are going pretty good today. TikTok's not so much, but hopefully we'll be pumping. If you guys miss any of this stuff, feel free to go to my YouTube channel. I got basically, like, I'm streaming over there, so you can always watch the replays and see everything from over there. But yeah, so also other notes that I wanted to bring up is that I'm going to be doing these lives every day. However, I'm going to be traveling this week, so it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I'll be out, and yeah, I'm going to be going to New York City. So this is my first time ever going to New York City. So we'll see how it goes. Probably going to do a bunch of touristy stuff, but I'm also going there for a conference. So should be fun to meet some people in real life. Yeah, is Dribble portfolio good, or making 3 case studies for your UX portfolio? I would say if you're gonna if you're choosing between making case studies or doing a Dribble portfolio, make the case studies because like, I like case studies inside of Dribble, but I prefer to look at case studies on a website just because it shows like you started something from scratch, you took it all the way through, and it looks good, right? Like it's one of those things. And Vanch over on Instagram just asked, how can you get my portfolio review? Go to my bio link. I've got a button in there to fill out a form, and I'll be doing one a day, basically. So I just did David Revis's last week. And I'm going to be doing another one today, Michaelis, I don't know. I think it's Michaelis. I'm going to go with that. But yeah, essentially, I love a portfolio that is kind of handcrafted, and it's a bit of like a annoying thing, right? Because you don't need to be good at web design to be a good product designer. So if you're applying for product design jobs, it kind of sucks to be getting judged on your web design tactics, right? However, why I still think it's a valuable exercise for anybody to spend a lot of time on is it's just another way to present. Like, if you're presenting your information in a really good way, that makes me more confident that you're going to be able to present the designs that I need you to design, right? Like, whatever the design is, if your portfolio looks killer and you've spent time and you've handcrafted it and it looks really good and the information's reading well, that means that you've got that like it factor in design where you understand how design works, you understand the process to UI UX a little bit. Just having that in your design, like in your web design. And it's funny because there's been a few times where I'll look at a website and I'll be like, this is the most amazing portfolio I've ever seen. And then I get to the case studies and they're garbage. And then I realize, wait, they used a freaking a template, right? And like, another thing is like, I don't think it's a bad thing to use a template. It wasn't like a thing where, like, this person is disingenuous, right? It almost got me, right? But then it was almost to the point where it was like more of a letdown seeing their actual work when I thought that, like, holy shit, this is like one of the best designer portfolios I've ever reviewed. And then I get into the case studies and the shots are like, whoa, wait, what? Is this the same designer? So that's the other side too, is like, try to have it as a connect from like your work value or your work quality and your web design quality. I think that's the other side of like making a handcrafted portfolio, is you're able to like see those pieces come together, and then and it's just another like way to judge you in a good way as a hiring manager, right? Like because you want to stand out on every point, right? Even the boxes that aren't actual boxes, you want to be checking those, and because it's going to like basically build those building blocks to make it where I'm going to say, yo, this person's worth an interview. Okay, over on Instagram, last question before I jump into the portfolio review. Hey, bro, just getting into UI UX. I'm currently taking Google UX course, and it's going okay. Do you have any other things I'd recommend to get my foot into the UI market? That is a perfect setup for me to say, I've got a UI course and a Figma course, and it's both 25% off right now. But no, I also have a design challenge called 70 Rad, where every day you'll get an email in the morning, and you'll be asked to basically like do 2 design challenges or 2 design things every day. And I think that's the biggest thing every new designer needs to do. And that's why I made that resource, and it's also why I made it free, because it's so important to just get going, just design. And as you do that, you're going to realize all of the little things that you need to learn, and through that, you'll start being able to access courses like mine, and you'll be ready for my courses and be able to say, yo, like I'm ready to do Nolan's course, and it's actually going to bring value to me, right? Because like every course that you take is going to be inherently very theoretical, right? And being able to apply the theory to the work is difficult unless you go and do a lot of work. And so you can do it one of 2 ways. You can go learn some stuff and then try to apply those in a design challenge like 70 Rad, or you can do a design challenge like 70 Rad, realize all of the things you don't know, start to be like, damn, all of my colors look like shit. What's going on? Where's a good typography font? I just want to use a different font today. Where is it? Let me go find that, right? And so you're going to start like learning all the little things. You're going to get really shallow quality out of a lot of little skills, right? And then you're going to go take my UI course, and you're going to realize how to be strategic around your UI and information architecture. And then you're going to go and make a lot more work. And then only at that point will you be ready to start building a portfolio. Yo, tech girl over there, sending some hearts. That's a huge gift. Appreciate you, tech girl. Yeah, if any way that you want to support me at all, would be greatly appreciated. However, if you can't support me, you just want to hang out with me, just drop a comment, drop some likes, get some more people in here so they can learn the good juice of this content that I'm putting out every day. But finally, okay, really long-winded answers and drops over there in general. And now it is going to be time to be doing a portfolio review. I hope you are all ready, because today we're going to be going into Michaelis's. Is it Michaelis or Michaelis? I don't know. I'm going with Michaelis though. I keep going back and forth on it, but we're getting into it today. We're gonna be talking about Michaelis's portfolio. So let's pull this bad boy up. Okay. Let's get it fully in view. Hold on one sec. Boom. All right. So far, it's looking pretty good. I love a good dark mode. Yeah, I'm a big fan of dark mode. If you can do dark mode well, with layering of colors, it's kind of like one of those hidden art forms. Not hidden art forms, but it's just like it shows that you've done a lot of work. Whenever you do dark mode well. Yeah. Please suggest the quickest way to create a design system with different color tints. Yeah, that's a deep answer. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna be doing another tutorial, and maybe tomorrow I can do a design system tutorial, like a mini one. Let's do that. So come back tomorrow, Jin. And if you miss me tomorrow, you can always check me out on YouTube. So let's dig into it. I'm gonna be talking about the portfolio of Michaelis. Did you get a chance to look at the battery charger case study? No, I haven't yet, David. I'm gonna check that out right after this, and I'll hit you with some thoughts in DMs. Okay. Sweet. Delivering a balance between creativity and practicality with a deep love for innovation and eye for detail. That's pretty nice. That's a good line. It's a short line, which is a good thing. Yeah, I'm liking it so far. UI UX designer, good. Putting yourself right on what you want to do, and how. I like these little bubbles. Um, I'd love it if you could find a way to make those bubbles like part of your work, right? Like having just like, I don't know, like I'm not a huge fan of just dropping UI shots just to drop UI shots, but it is one of those like things where you crushed all this. It would be dope if you could bring it home with some kind of UI, in general, like of like to be like, I don't even need to scroll, and I can already get a vibe for you and your design chops, right? And I would say like keep these. I like these little bubbles, but maybe it's like a thing in the background, kind of faded out. So again, it's not like something that is I need to go read it and look at it, but I can start getting a vibe for your spacing tactics. I can start getting a vibe for the type of work you've done. All of that would be really nice to have that in your hero, because it's such a minimal hero, which is a good thing, right? And maybe I'm giving you some bad advice, so just like take it with a grain of salt and try it out though, where maybe it's like this like really soft, like very faded out, and maybe it like fades to black as well, so that it fades right into all this black as well. But just, yeah, grain of salt. Think about it. Think about it, Michaelis. Overall, this hero is a great hero. Yeah, UX Nico, appreciate you appreciating me. Love that you're doing the 70 Rad challenge. If you haven't already, go join my free challenge around design. So, okay, last thing on the hero. Love this. I think this is really nice. Yeah, putting yourself in SaaS is great too. I think that's like probably where most of the work of product designers is. So that's great that you put that. Now getting into games is a little bit of like I don't know. I wish I could talk about the games that I designed, and all the process that I took to almost get them built. And I do have that in a case study, but it's also part of a larger project where mostly that I talk about the dashboard aspects of it. I don't talk about the game side of it. So that's the only thing I would say that throws off this vibe. And then last thing that I'll say is, and this is no knock to you or to Hotmail, but are you using a Hotmail email? Who's using a Hotmail email? Can somebody give me? I saw that just now and I was like, wait, Hotmail? So yeah. My bad. I'm not even like talking shit. It's more just like I didn't even know Hotmail like was a thing still. So that's the last I'll leave. I'll leave it there. Great hero so far, Michaelis. Keep it running. Keep it running. Okay. Okay. So getting into feature work. This is cool. This is cool. Okay. One small thing is the grid. Now this might be because of my scale. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay. So it is not because of the scale, and therefore I'm going to jam you up about it. Is this right here, this little gap right here, looks smaller than this gap, right? And so what we need to think about when we're doing information architecture is we need to think about scannability, right? Now I'm a hiring manager, I'm coming on your portfolio, and I'm trying to decide which of these 3.5 case studies you've got here that I should click on to go watch and check out like your quality and your process, right? And so with that in mind, I'm trying to scan for rows, right? I'm scanning, right? And so because of that, what we want to do with our spacing, and again, this is not like a thing that you are not going to get an interview because of, right? But it does show like just like one of those like little box things that makes me feel like, wait, we got to work on our spacing. And so is that spacing going to translate into our UI of the actual designs? Let's see. But for now, in order to help build up the vibes of scannability, we want very distinct rows. Boom, 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 right? And that starts to get muddy when you've got a 2x2 grid, which all of them are the same pieces of content, right? So again, I'm jamming up over a very small piece here, but it is one thing that is important is in all row spacing is that these two blocks should be closer than the next row, right? Like the margin that fits right here should be less than the margin that fits right here, right? Or at least the same. But what that does is it allows us to scan specific rows, boom, 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 right? And then I can go right and look detail on the next row. If I'm like, hey, let's check this row again. And again, I'm going to look at all 4 of these, right? Because I'm going to check which ones you want, or which ones you do and all that. But that is one like thing about row spacing that is such an important factor of information architecture. And I'll just say really quick, Blinko, yo, appreciate you sending the heart. I'll give you a heart. Appreciate you sending a gift over on TikTok. Love you, love you. Okay, sick. All right, here we go. So we've got 4 case studies, but really, here's my thing. I don't like these coming soons. I already don't like it when it's password protected. It's even worse when there's a coming soon, because like, why even put it, right? Oh, and you also made that button functional. Super annoying. And it's just like, I don't know. For me, it's like you could just crush these 3 and I would be none the wiser. I wouldn't be annoyed to be like, show me that in endoscopy training stuff, right? Especially you've already got 2 VR training projects, right? And so unless you're going to go try to work at a VR place, which maybe you are, right? But like, I don't think you need to show a coming soon of a 3rd VR project, right? I think that like, I think just leave this one off. Leave this one off. Okay. Or just don't hit publish until you get it done, right? Coming soons, it's a big negative points for me whenever I see coming soons when I'm reviewing portfolios. It's not going to keep me from giving you an interview. However, I will say I've never given an interview to a coming soon person with a project in there, because they just let their work that they had speak for itself, right? And again, I've tried to hire somebody with 2 projects on their case studies, like literally just this. It was just 2 projects. There was none of this. And they didn't even have this down here, which is pretty dope. I'll get back to that in a sec. Actually, let's just keep going, scan it down. A bit about me, nice, love to see this. I think that's really cool that you put this in here, put a picture of yourself, great. Yeah, made all this very accessible, solid work there. I love this this showcase. Cool, yeah, I think that's cool. I would say it would be nice if you could find a way to not bento it, right? You've already bentoed this. You've bentoed this stuff up here as well a little bit. Like this spacing on this gap just feels kind of useless, and it's making it where the shot is even more zoomed out, which makes me be even more like, which one should I click? I don't even know. And so then off that idea is, how can you make this like a slider or something, so I don't even need to click or interact with this, and I can already get access to all of this good juice, right? Because this is okay. The designs are pretty good. A lot of content, but there's also a lot of content in e-commerce. Okay. Yeah, just quickly like looking at these. This one's a pretty good shot here. I think that's a good shot. I would say though, like, again, we got this gap here, this gap concern. Look at that. Boom. All right. So, I don't want to like toot my own horn here, but I was just talking about this grid being an issue right here, right? Where there was more spacing right here than there was here. And I said, maybe you're going to be doing that in your UI shots, and you're doing it in your UI shots. So just make those at least the same, right? Best, right? Second best, or maybe more optimized, more advanced would be less, more, right? And so that way it just makes it feel so much more cohesive, right? Yeah, okay. This is a nice shot, okay? It's just trouble with these UI shots. Like, I've got this on my portfolio, right? So I can't really talk too much shit about it. I'm gonna bring up my portfolio really quick. So look, I've got 4 projects, and then I've got notable projects, and these notables are basically my UI shots. But I at least make them clickable, and inside I at least give like a mini case study with some more UI shots around the project, right? So I give a little bit more context, and then I give more content, more details to be like, if this for whatever reason is speaking to you, dive deeper into it, right? And that's like ultimately the real thing, right? Is the reason for this interface showcase is not to show, hey, I'm good at UI. What it's trying to do, what at least the reason I have it in my portfolio is purely to say, yo, if I'm hiring or if I'm applying for a job and you don't think that any of these main case studies actually translate to the type of work that I'm going to be doing in your job, like maybe it's a completely different industry or something like that, right? And so if that's the case, I can shore that up by showing more industries in a more shallow way so that you can at least feel confident as a hiring manager that I've thought about the challenges that you're having in your company, right? And so that's ultimately what the reason is for this interface showcase. It's not to show that you've got good UI chops, right? Because you should be able to do that in this section, in this featured work section, right? And so ultimately what you're trying to do here is show different industries, which you've actually done, right? You got an e-commerce shot. You've got okay, this is kind of like a mental health kind of shot. Okay, cool. So you've done that, but I would say if you're giving me a little bit of a taste, give me more juice when you're jumping into it, right? So dude, it's close, man. It's close, McAllis. Like you're almost there. Just give me a little bit more details, and then also too, I'd say cut this shot. It just kind of looks a little bit like a little bit. It's probably your worst shot of these, right? This shows that you can do some web design. I'd say these are okay. It feels a little like, I don't know, like it's missing some inspiration on this shot at least. This one's pretty good. I like it a lot. I think that it shows like details. I would say if you can on this shot, cut this paragraph in half just to give me more juice down here because that's like what looks best on this shot. These look pretty good too. Again, the spacing between these three are too wide. Bring them closer together, or drop these squares altogether around it. It doesn't need those squares, right? It doesn't need those squares. But overall, like the UI is okay. Just make these shots a little bit cleaner, a little bit more fresh, and it feels like some of these are some newer ones. So go ahead and like refresh these, right? How can you like give more spacing and emphasis to all of this stuff, right? I feel like it's missing some of that kind of juice and some of that intentionality around like where should my eye go, right? Where should my eye go on this? I can't really tell. Lots of things to look at, and that's really where like information architecture and hierarchy is such an important part of all of this. It's such an important part of UI. And so like I can see that you can make some vibes, right? But I have yet to see that you can be strategic in your UI. And so because of that, the interface showcase is falling a little flat. Now maybe you did, maybe you were strategic on this. And so show me a little bit of context, give me a bit more shots, and then I'll be able to make that decision on this, on whether these are valuable or not. And also too, like the fact that these are 3x rows, and then these last two are wider, it's throwing me off. I almost didn't even click on them because I thought it was a different section. It's nice that this one's got a Behance link. But if that's the case, make that visible in a different way, right? If you did a whole case study, damn, you did a whole case study on this. Okay, so it's a game, I guess, so maybe that's why you didn't want to go too hard on it. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. Okay. Emmanuel asking on TikTok, how can I develop good taste or a good sense of aesthetic? Just design a lot. Also, copy other people. Don't start from scratch. And when I'm saying copy other people, don't go use those designs as your own. Use them to build in your design reps, right? Like when you're working out, right, you got to put the reps in. Like if I wanted biceps, I wouldn't go and do a bunch of curls today and expect biceps, right? I would do a bunch of curls for like months, and then maybe I'll start seeing some biceps, right? And so that's the same deal. You can't just like think on like what's the best way to build good taste. Like you can't be looking at pontificators about that. You just got to grind out the reps, right? But the other thing too is building reps. It's not worth it unless you're doing the right thing, right? Maybe like dumbbell curls are better than barbell curls. I don't know. I'm not a trainer, but like you want to do the right exercises as well. And so, in my opinion, the right exercises when you're trying to get good design chops, build your design taste, is all about copying the best UI out there, which you can often find on Dribble. And additionally, I'll just last thing I'll say on that note is I've got a design challenge that basically does that. It basically says, hey, design this thing every day, recreate it, right? Every day. And then also design a project every 10 days as well. That's what 70 Rad is. So go check that out. It's in my bio link. You can get that for free. Basically get 70 days of emails and you should be coming out with some good solid work. Okay. Nice. That's it. That's it for that. Let me catch up on over on Instagram. Thanks so much for the great stuff. Teach us so easily. Yeah, appreciate you for appreciating me. Hope you guys are getting a lot out of this. I'm having a lot of fun. And so now we're gonna get into the real work. That was like me tearing up your homepage, McAllis. Let's talk about the real work. Now, I've already talked about this before, but in the last year, I've hired 2 designers, and in that time, I reviewed about 300 portfolios each time. When I was going in and sitting down, I was looking at like at least 50 portfolios a day, right? And so basically, you gotta know that that's happening when you're applying for jobs, and when people are reviewing work and your portfolio, they're coming in like off of just looking at 10 other portfolios, right? And so with that in mind, what they're doing and what I did was I was looking for one case study that I would guarantee I would read one case study on every portfolio. And then once I got into it, I was like, okay, this person is either like didn't make the cut or they're worth reading another case study to see if it's got the juice that I want and that like they've got a process here. Did they do the process on another project as well? And that's also too why I'll say you only need 2 case studies really. I think 1 is too little. 3 is probably the sweet spot. But 4, 5, 6, probably not all of them are going to get looked at, right? And so you're better served doing what I did on my portfolio, where you got 3 banging case studies and then do UI shots to ground people in the industry to make sure that like, this person can design in my spot because I'm in e-commerce or whatever, right? So all that to say, I'm coming in, I'm looking for one shot or for one case study. Now, first off, the fact that you've got so much VR stuff, it's cool, right? And honestly, like the UX of VR is a really like interesting topic that I've actually never designed for. So I feel pretty confident in saying that like those would be cool case studies to look at. However, I'm never going to go read those 2 first, right? I'm going to go look at the app, right? Because I'm probably going to be trying to hire you for my app design work that I'm doing, right? So I love that you put that as the first one. Now, going back to it, you've got this coming soon one here. I would say like cut that one because you've already got 2 VR ones, right? And so unless you're trying to apply for VR roles, which really niches you down, right? And maybe that's a good thing, but it also makes it where your portfolio is not as versatile as if you had 2 app design case studies, a web design case study, and then 1 VR case study, right? Because if you had those, I would probably read the app one and then I would go check the VR one because I would be like, okay, they can do some web design, cool. Okay, they've done 2 apps, cool. And this VR thing, that's pretty interesting. I want to see the UX process that they went about on the VR, right? So, okay, all that to say, cool. Let's jump into it. The client, the VR Hive, cool. Okay, I see now why you've got so much VR stuff. Does that make sense? 6 months. I don't think the duration's needed. Like I've never seen a thing, unless it's like I was there for 3 years on this product team. Like unless it's that, I don't think you need to put duration, right? Because once you get beyond a year, it's like, oh, okay, this person was like an impact. They liked them enough to keep them around for longer than a year. But 6 months is almost like a negative, right? I'm guessing that it was probably client work. And so client work doesn't need a timetable, right? Unless it was like we got this done in a week, right? Now that's impressive. That's cool, right? But 6 months, I don't know. I don't think it's needed. So drop that, I would say. I like that you put it in the industries. That's cool. That's cool. Roles would be great. I think what I like to see about roles is less the general role of UI UX designer and more the tactics that you had to use, right? Like I did user research, I did prototyping, I did data analysis, I did the UI, I did a wireframe, right? I think that's where the value is on this role line. So cool to see your tools that you used. Again, I don't think it's super necessary. However, it is one of those box checks where I'm like, nice, okay, they use Figma, that's good. But hopefully, okay, no, never mind. I was gonna say, hopefully you showed some screenshots of like a Figma file or something like that. You don't need to do that. I've seen that a lot. Is the only reason why I was saying that. But cool. This looks good. It's juicy enough to make me continue to read and to continue to scroll. So that's good. At a glance, VR app released for iOS and Android is a platform designed to host immersive. Okay, um, I would love to see how can we cut this in half, this paragraph in half. Yeah, our aim to address soft skill shortages and provide students. I don't think you need this aim when you've got a problem box right here, right? Or move this to this. Make instead of our aim, make it or make the challenge the problem. Cut this problem and then have 3 bullets, right? Have our aim, our problem, our solution, or our results, right? I think like that would be really dope to see that. Like boom, 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 at a glance, perfect. So that makes it where it's not too much reading, it's just this, and then you've got 3 bullets right over here. So I think that's the best bet to go with that section. Overall, the content's pretty good though. Our findings. From our research, we found significant shortcomings on online learning. Okay. Knowledge retained. Yeah, okay. This is cool. This is cool. I think that's nice. That's a nice section. I'd say keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Love that. Okay. Ideation, lo-fi wireframes. Okay. Onboarding. I think that's cool. Okay, you made those zoom inable. That's nice. Yeah. You know, it's funny because I've been talking shit every time about people leaning too much on proto personas and stuff like that. Uh, and then now you didn't do any of that, and I think it's a good thing. It allows me to get to the juice. I will say there's like one spot right here that's missing, the one gap. Like I think that dropping the persona is good. It's like it's not needed here because you kind of already talked about like the people who are going to be using it, the challenges that they're going to have, and like the reason you're doing this, right? To address the soft skill shortages, right? In students, right? So you've already grounded me in the person, the type of person that's going to be using this. I don't think you need to go in more detail on the persona. I love that you got these research points. That's great too. Now, what I'm missing though is like the steps that you took between that and the ideation stage, right? Because there should be a little bit of steps, right? And now you did do some testing, that's cool, on the wireframes, but again, you missed that one gap, right? And I don't even think you need to go too hard on it. Just like a section that's like, maybe it's like one section like this and like a screenshot of like a workshop that you did or something like that. Or like a screenshot of like some like, you know, yeah, I think a workshop would be great. Or some form of like, this is what we're going to try to do, bullet, 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 or icon data, icon information, to be able to say like, these are what the real things we're going to go do and why, like, or how we took this information and then turned it into the ideation phase that we did. So even if you didn't do it, if you did it on a client project or an agency and you guys didn't do it like that on an intentional basis, that's fine. Just don't even mess with it. Don't even worry about it. Just make it up at that point. This is good. Usability testing, feedback. Cool. Yeah, I think that's nice bullets like that. Perfect. Hi-fi, collaboration. Yeah. I mean, I think this is good. I would love to see these a little bit. Like I have to click into them to be able to see like the whole view. So how can you turn this into like a slider or something like that? You know, you had a slider on your homepage that was kind of like slowly moving by. Maybe you could do that here. Yeah. But overall, like the design, the case study is very optimized. It's very focused as well, which is a good thing as well. And you gave me the juice at the end, which is the actual final shots. Now I already talked about the design over on the homepage, like maybe drop these boxes or make them tighter together. This gap should be tighter than this gap. You know, this right here should be a little bit more spacing between this. Maybe cut this down in half to be able to give me the ability to see more information of what's inside, like what's after your badges section. Just little stuff like that would be nice to see. Yeah, I think that's pretty good though. I would say too, for all of you out there, don't do lorem ipsum in your final designs that you show. It just it's one of those things that make me question if you've like tested the content with real content. Now, and it also makes it where like, okay, this definitely isn't a live shot on the actual app when they built it, right? And not to say that you have to get a shot of that to have a good case study, but it just is one of those things where it's one of those like, if you don't mention it, I might make assumptions, and it's a good thing that I make the assumption the right way for you, right? Love the conclusion. I think that's really great. And you were so data focused on all of this stuff before. It would be great to have seen some more data on this outcome and the product impact. So yeah, that's all I got for that. I think overall pretty solid portfolio. I would say maybe even the second best that I've reviewed so far. So yeah, there we go. Hope you got some juice out of that, McAllis. But yeah, usually I sit here and I chat for a little bit longer, but I've got to hit it, y'all. So I'm going to be back tomorrow, probably 1 p.m. Eastern time, maybe 1:30 Eastern time. So I hope to see you again. Hope you had fun on this live. And yeah, if you missed anything, you can go check it out over on my YouTube to see the replay. And if you want me to do a live portfolio review like this, go check my bio link and fill out the form to be able to get your portfolio in the queue. So yeah, hope you all have an awesome day, and let's kill it. Today I'm actually going to close the live on TikTok. I left it going live the other day. So bye everybody.